So rather than buy a forge, you want to build one. And that's definitely doable. This is actually a whole section of the DIY blacksmithing book that I wrote back in 2015 about how to do this economically. And the main thing you want to get is, if you're going with a coal forge, which is the easier way to do the DIY version of this, is to get some sort of basin, something to hold the coal. It's got a rim all the way around, something to hold the coal in. Solid bottom to it, so you want fairly thick steel, right? So old stainless steel sink. If you've got a lawnmower deck that you can flip over, or brake drum forge is fairly common. So something you put a hole in, if it doesn't already have it, attach 2-inch black pipe to the bottom. So it's going to come down through the bottom of that forge, come off in a T with a nipple screwed onto the bottom of that T. So you end up with what's basically an L-shaped leg, right? This is where you're going to put your blow dryer to force air up through the system and up into the bottom of that forge basin. And I'll include some diagrams of this so you know what I'm talking about. It's going to force the air up through the bottom. That has a grate over that hole so you don't lose the coal down into the piping. And that's going to generate your higher temperatures, because you're adding oxygen. That helps you generate those higher heats. Okay, so those things you need some sort of basin. It could be an old charcoal grill, it could be a lawnmower deck, a brake drum, any sort of basin, stainless steel sink. So you've got a basin, you've got 2-inch black pipe to direct the airflow of the blow dryer. Okay, you need a grate on the bottom of it, and then you need your fuel source, that coal. So 5 things. And these are all 5 things are fairly easy to come by. If you go to your local scrapyard, you may even have this stuff in your garage. So if you don't have coal, don't have access to coal, that's okay. You can certainly use charcoal briquettes and then add more airflow to those to get the temperature even hotter. The downside of briquettes is that they will burn up faster than coal. Okay, same thing with wood. So charcoal comes from wood. Wood hasn't been burnt and condensed. The energy hasn't been condensed enough at that point to really get super hot. You need a lot of wood material to get as hot as the intrinsic energy in a piece of coal will get. I hope that makes sense. So more wood equals a smaller amount of coal. Okay, it can be done, because back in primitive times, what they would do is they would build what we call a T-trench in the ground. They would dig it out. So the bottom part of the T, what they would do is cover that up most of the way. The top part of the T, top part here, they would line that with stones or brick that they had made. Throw their wood in the top part there. This is where the heat's going to be. The bottom part of that T, they take a tube or a reed or something they can blow through, and you actually act as the blower. So you're blowing air into the bottom of the T. It comes out into one, comes into the top of the T and generates those higher heats. So you're the blower, the material in there, you get it up to temperature by blowing into it. Okay, so it's definitely doable. If you're more interested in, say, a gas forge, that's going to take some welding experience typically. You're going to need to line it with K.O. wool or ceramic brick or something along those lines to get that, to retain all that heat. So options for doing that: you can take an empty, and I have to emphasize empty and cleaned out propane canister to do it. You can take an old coffee can, and there are video tutorials online about how to do this. An old coffee can, and line that for a little mini forge. You have a burner coming in the top, and burners are kind of a tricky thing in and of themselves. I'll give you some recommendations for places to look for burners. But basically it's a chamber that's been lined with a fuel source coming in the top. It could be even a propane torch. You just get to spend a lot of money pushing all that propane inside. So if a propane canister costs $5 to $7, you're going to blow through a lot of propane trying to heat things up. So it's a little trickier. If you have some of those welding skills and you can weld a secure metal box, I've had students go out and take ammo cans, cut a hole in the front, drill through the top, set up some burners up top off of plans online, and have a nice little forge that way. It can be an inexpensive way to do it.